Part 2 continues from our campsite in Birdsville. What a welcome Birdsville turned on for us for our first night with a sky like that. Next morning it was back in town to get some photos in and around the famous Birdsville Hotel. Inside the pub you'll find lots of hats. Some of them are modern day caps, others are quite old Akubra type hats. A few of our taggers rolled into the pub beer garden for lunch. Back in the 1800s, Birdsville was a bigger town than what it is now. It had a couple of pubs and this was one of them, the Royal Hotel. That building on the right hand side is the Birdsville Information Centre. It's quite a large building and has a lot to see inside. Today, Birdsville survives on tourism. On the right hand side is the Birdsville Caravan Park. It's a very large park, but it does fill up when there's events on such as the Birdsville races or the Big Red Bash. Those towers in the distance are water cooling towers for the town's bore water. People are gathered here to watch the very hot water coming up from deep underground. I believe the water is coming out at almost boiling point, around 98 to 99 degrees. A little way past the cooling towers you'll find a cement pad. There's a large water hose connected there giving the same bore water as they use in town. The water is already cooled down and can be used to wash down vehicles or fill water tanks. Heading back to the other end of town, you'll find the Birdsville Billabong. It's a bit of an oasis in the desert, and also a lot of bird life are there. Birdsville Airport is just directly over the road from the pub. You can see people walking out there now to get on the plane for joy flights. And that's exactly what some of the taggers did. These photos were taken by tagger Lynn Jarvis. Amazing how green some of the areas are out there after the recent floods. Further out west from Birdsville are some very big sand dunes. This vehicle leaves a trail of dust on the road that cuts through one of the sand dunes on the way to Big Red. Some of the taggers stayed at the Birdsville Caravan Park, but most of us used this campground on the edge of town. It's a huge camping area and free to stay. We enjoyed having good campfires every night we stayed here, and it's not too far to walk into town as some of the taggers did. This is the road out of Birdsville taking you to Big Red, about 38 kilometres away. A lot of it is bitumen, but most of it is gravel. we're not moving as fast as it looks. I've actually speeded the video up. Our true moving speed is shown at the bottom of the screen in the white text. It's really interesting how the road cuts through the sand dunes as we get closer to the Simpson Desert. Our moving speed is now down to around 20 kilometres an hour because of the corrugations on the road. That large sand dune you can see in the distance is called Little Red. We'll stop there for a look on our way to Big Red. Four-wheel drivers wanting to continue into the Simpson Desert can cross Little Red here instead of the challenge of the much higher Big Red, which is 2 kilometres along on the side road that we're about to do. It looks a little bit sandy, but not too bad, so we'll give it a go. We have 3 or 4 other motorhomes coming up behind us if we get into any trouble. Again, I've speeded up the video for this 2 kilometre side road taking us to Big Red. The road's not too bad at all so far. There is some pockets of deeper sand, but the main thing is just to keep the wheels turning when you come across spots like that. I spoke too soon about the good road conditions, now getting some very nasty corrugations and the speed's down to under 20 kilometres an hour at times. All good and not far to go. I can see Big Red coming up on the left hand side. I'm pretty sure some of these 4-wheel drive people were surprised to see motorhomes turn up here at the bottom of Big Red. Arriving at this location in a motorhome was a special moment for me, and I'm sure for some of the others. After After walking up to the top of Big Red, our taggers John and Thelma decided to try and slide down using cardboard. Good on them for having some fun and giving it a go. I got my drone up in the air to get some magnificent photos of Big Red and the surrounding area. You can see the road in the distance of that photo heading out into the Simpson Desert. Absolutely incredible place here. This photo shows deep sand and why even four-wheel drives have trouble crossing Big Red. These photos taken by Lynn at sunset show Big Red living up to its name. Starting to get dark, so time for us to drive back to our campsite. Keep them wheels turning through that sandy section. We drove into total darkness on the way back. Got back to town about 7 p.m. I was quite surprised how quiet it was at the Birdsville Hotel for 7 o'clock at night. In fact, the whole town was quiet for 7 o'clock at night. Now, how are we going to find our turn off into our campsite in the dark? That reflective sign's a big clue. I think this is it. That looks like a campfire going at our campsite in the distance. That's John and Helen's car that they're being towing. They're in their motorhome, following not far behind us. Now to grab a chair and enjoy the campfire. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for part 3 coming in the near future, where we leave Birdsville and head north, showing some more great places and some more outback adventure.